Hey everyone, this is Steve, and we're here at Sanctuary Comics in Irvine, Texas. Let's go on in. Steve here with ActionNerd.com, and we are at Sanctuary, man, at Sean's place. This is Sean, and
Hello.
I always say you're in Louisville. I don't know everything.
It's Valley Ranch, Irving.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
Irving, but we're special. We're Valley Ranch.
Valley Ranch.
Or so our HOA tells us when they bill us heavily.
And it's a nice strip mall center.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many that are run down and abandoned, and you come and you turn into here, and you have a beautiful sign. I took some shots of that.
Mm-hmm.
You walk in, and man, did I walk into an old school comic store with old school service.
Yeah, I'm long in it too, so that's what we get, old.
Yeah. I'm way older than you, but you know, it was amazing. As I said to you on the phone, when I called in and I asked for Fantastic 422, and it was either Austin or Jacob I spoke to it, and you were my third call. And the other two calls were, can't do anything for you. I don't know if we have it. Here, found it. Let me see if I can hold it for you. Let me check my subscription, folks. Make sure we took care of them first. And then let me hold it for you. Boom, hold it. And I was like, I'm going there. And I'm coming here and I've been here every week since then.
And we appreciate that.
And I'll tell you, we hung out for about an hour just chatting that night. And that's what I've been talking about on why some comic book stores are just shutting down and the other ones are thriving, as we see right now. You know, the conversation up to me hitting the record button, the debates on Loki, the chats about the different the different multiverses, just that hometown feel is what keeps these great stores alive. And your guys bragging about the owners. How often do you brag about a boss? You know,
True.
It doesn't happen very often. And when I said, God, I'd like to interview you guys, gotta talk to Sean. He's so cool. I was like, all right, and finally we got to connect, which was cool. So I got to start with this question. With all the retailers failing, mainly, and you started this 6 years ago.
Yep.
Why the hell did you start a comic store?
My wife basically kicked me in the butt.
Yeah.
And she goes, it's something you've always wanted to do. Don't use me and the boys as an excuse not doing it. And she goes, you never failed at anything. And I'm like, I fail at things 24/7. I failed getting out of bed one day. I have a rug burn on my nose because I couldn't get out of bed right.
Gotcha.
But I'm like a dog with a bone. I just don't give up. And the reason why I opened up the shop and call it Sanctuary is respect the four walls and the people in it. And there's nothing I want to do for you. And, forget all the stuff that goes on out there, the racism, politics, just whatever brand of hate you want.
Yeah.
Don't care. Come in. Everyone has rough days.
Yeah.
Come in. Be with good people. Laugh. Take a load off. Just appreciate having sun on your face and someone to talk to.
Yeah.
It's like, in COVID proved that even more. It's like people stuck at home and the depression and everything else. It's like to come in and some of the people that, like, I know 90+% of people that walk through that door first name basis, and to get some of the laughter out of them when they've had a crap day.
Yep.
And just for them to come in and say, and I get humbled. I get a lot of people come in and say, thank you for having this place. It's like, no, thank you. It's like, I have a customer appreciation day, in November, and I give away like thousands and thousands of dollars in product. And it's not me trying to advertise or anything. I don't advertise. It's word of mouth.
Yeah.
I just want to let the people know that thank you for being part of our community.
Yeah.
Whether it's like one of our card games, Star Wars, One Piece, Lorcana, whether it's our miniature game, our board gamers, our comics, whatever it is, thank you for being a part of Sanctuary.
Yeah.
That's what matters to me. And
it looks like you've created a community. And I've spoke in other episodes about giving folks that may not have a sense of belonging, that sense of belonging. I know I was the same way. I was a Kiss fan. You and I talked
Oh
about
yeah,
that a bit.
that's freaking awesome.
And back in the 70s,
Yeah.
you were either a Kiss fan and hardcore, or you got beat up and you got ridiculed about it.
Paul Stanley, that was my favorite.
There you go.
Yeah.
And
Had to have that 1 star.
the 1-star work, man.
Yeah.
And to have a place to come and be yourself and get into the games and have people that talk about
meet
it.
friends. Like I've had people meet here, like hookups. Not just like guys, girls, and stuff like that, but also long-standing relationships. And to see people, it's like, hey, we're gonna go out to this place and eat afterwards. You want to come? And what I love about it is like everyone's beautifully flawed.
Oh yeah.
Like I love that. That's what makes us us. And it's like someone might be self-conscious about like a mole on the right side of their leg, or maybe something on their face, or like I'm fat, bald, and obnoxious. I know that. I was told that many times, and I live with it. But for the people that come in and they might be looking down, it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Keep your head up.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to say hi. Don't be afraid to smile. Like I do things all the time, and it's totally off the cuff. Like I'll have Magic players in here and had a good day and stuff like that. I'll rip open a box of Magic, give out a card. I give stuff away all the time. And people say why, and I'm like, that's a wrong question. Why not?
Right.
Why not?
Right.
And it's not that hard. It's not that hard to hold a door up for someone, or in traffic, let someone get in front of you. Don't you realize that could stop someone from going over the edge?
That's right.
And to me, like this place could burn down. I'd be sad about it, but it can be rebuilt.
Yeah.
Someone I care about that comes through the door and I hear their laughter and stuff, something happened to them, I'm crushed.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
what
about
matters.
that kindness. And I'll tell you, I think the word is social stalking. I stalked your Facebook page, Sanctuary, as soon as I left here. And I saw these food layouts on the tables.
Yeah.
And we talked about this. And so what was all that? I mean, there was tons of food.
For me, like, I'm not a very religious person.
Yeah.
I believe there's a creator, whatever you want to name it. Don't care. Okay. But I do believe in people.
Yeah.
And what's the easiest way to get people together?
Food. Yeah.
It's like, and if you don't like food, tell me what you do like.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I pull a spread out there, and it's like, if someone is vegetarian, I got you covered. Big ziti, I'll make that for you.
There you go.
I've cooked ever since I was 5.
Yeah.
My mom raised me and my brother to be very independent, and I love to see people happy. Love to see people feel like they belong.
Yeah.
Okay, and people are like, oh, you're so nice. I'm like, no, I'm selfish as hell. After working 35 years corporate, like coming from very humble beginnings I came from, like my wife, she was a Vietnamese refugee, and I adore her parents, what they went through. My wife speaks 3 languages, has 3 degrees.
Oh, wow.
Is an amazing person. Like, she likes and knows sports. And next level, she tolerates me, which I'm like as unshoveled as like
I have one of those wives too.
Yeah, cat-balled yarn. And there's so many cliche sayings out there, but it's true. Behind every good man's a great woman.
Yes.
Because there are times where I'm just like at wit's end,
Yeah.
or I'm depressed or whatever else. And I come in here and I just have that one person that gives me a smile. I'm like, I haven't screwed up that badly yet.
Yeah. There you go.
And it makes me feel good for them.
Yeah.
And it's not me. Like, I don't care. It's like, I have a shop. I have all this stuff. It's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about the next person that walks through that door and needs something. If I can provide it, why not? Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And there is that service element to the. Above all, it's kindness, and we just sprinkle some of that, and just watching the interaction with the folks in the 15 minutes I've been here, and you knew everybody, and you joked about everything, and it was I felt it was caring, it was locker room talk, it was family talk, and it was
engaging to everybody. It's like, hey, you want to get in this? Bring it in.
And there was no exclusiveness. It was, everybody was in on it, and it was cool.
Like in schools and you always have your cliques and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I was clique free.
Yeah.
I could play sports. I was smart enough. I was a geek. I didn't play music, but I loved band. I could relate to everybody.
Yeah.
And it was, back then they just didn't diagnose ADD. And
Right.
I know I had it.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to focus. But back then we didn't have Ritalin. We didn't have counselors. We had, you will get your stuff done.
Right.
Or you go nowhere.
Shut up and get to work. Right.
Basically, like head down, elbows up. And I'm like, is this a sexual context? It's like, I don't want to be hearing this from a counselor, But but again, like I've done like stand-up comedy. I've played semi-pro football. I've got a black belt in Jeet Kune Do. I've done all these things, and it's not me bragging about it. It's me saying, everyone's worried about the secret of life. You know, the meaning of life.
Yeah.
It's real simple. Live it.
Yeah. Just
you
do
know,
it.
Yeah, just do it. And it's like, it's okay to fail. Failure is just another way of learning.
I think when we chatted on the phone the other day, I thought it was really cool because I have the same philosophy you do. I've done all kinds of things, whether it's mental wackoness, but I get obsessed with all sorts of things.
Right.
But you know what? I now open myself up to be able to talk to just about anybody. We can have common ground on whether it's music, whether it's sports, whether it's nerd stuff. Now it's comic books. If it's business, we can talk business. You know, you have another job besides this.
Yeah.
And so
I work over
things,
100 hours a week.
There you go.
And I'm married, you know, happily married. Like my wife is my goddess.
With kids, right?
I have 2 beautiful sons who are bright, intelligent, creative. And when they were born, I just wanted 10 fingers, 10 toes.
Yeah.
And then when they got older, I prayed and hoped that they would laugh when they cry. Now I'm just trying to give them enough tools to succeed in life.
Yeah.
But actually, my favorite quote, and I won't say it on here, was from the boys. Don't be C-U-N-T. And I would love to tell them that, you know, because we get compliments all the time, my wife and I, on how well behaved our boys are and how caring our boys are.
That's awesome.
And I told them, like, I was raised, there are 2 types of people in the world. People that have class and people that don't.
That's right.
It doesn't matter what where you come from, race,
how much
religion,
money's
whatever.
in the bank,
That means, and class is real simple. It's how you treat someone else.
Yeah.
And like my wife and I would get in these debates about, well, why don't you believe in like the Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter? I said, it's not that I don't believe in it. Why are you segmenting it?
Sure.
You know, why can't you just be compassionate to everybody?
Right.
And that's what bothers me. It's like, I have quote unquote problems with religion because it segregates people.
Yeah.
I have problems with politics. It segregates people.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
If you come in, and like I said, you come in, you're respectful of the 4 walls, I give you a discount on everything. I will give you stuff.
I got stuff.
Yeah, and it's that simple. It's like, let me say thank you, and I'd rather show than tell.
Yeah.
It's like, I had, card players the other night, and I had like someone come in with like all proxies, all like copies of cards.
Yeah.
And by the end of the night, people had given that person those cards. They had a full deck with no proxies by the end of the night. How
and that's
awesome
your group
is that?
of players.
Yeah.
This community pulls it together.
And like I had a customer come in one time. He got like some cards graded.
Yeah.
And he handed out. He goes, "Oh, well, you give stuff all the time. Can I give this out?" And I thought, like, wow, that's really nice. A graded card. I had no idea it was worth $150.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and like the person that wanted, it's like, well, here you go. I set it down, and like before I set it down, I knew how much it was worth.
Yeah.
And I walked away, and it's just like, it's a mic drop. Bam, walked away, and it's like I hear the person starting in the background, but what, and I said, well, don't thank me, thank Ario, because Ario is the one who gave us the card.
Yeah.
He's part of the community.
Yeah.
And if you don't get the feels from stuff like that, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, something's up.
And that's what I love about it. It's like, there are days, like I said, I come in dragging ass.
Yeah.
Rough day at work, or, maybe personal problems, like my son had a rough day or my wife had a rough day.
Yeah.
Or, we have, other relatives, like my mom's in her 80s and I worry about her. And none of us live in a box.
Right.
But the thing is, I'll be damned if I take that out on somebody.
Sure.
And I'm human. I make mistakes. I make so many mistakes I raise both hands so I don't get shot by the police. That's it. But again, I want to look at the people that come in and give a damn.
Yeah.
And care. And like, I have so many, like, I have a couple Daniels I could call out. The 2 guys that work for me are freaking amazing.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that was the first touch that I got. And I was just like immediately drawn to him. I literally worked all day, came in that night, and we sat here for a good hour just chatting like we've known each other.
Yeah.
And when I come in here, they welcome me back, and we chat, and it's just like you surround yourself with the good people.
But you have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to do that. Like, life is about experiences and about relationships. If you're by yourself, that's the saddest thing in the world. Like, it's okay to have time by yourself.
Yeah.
But if you're truly alone, that's heart-wrenching.
Right.
But, I can look at, like, Austin, I've known, since I opened up the shop. there are times where I come in and I just marvel at how kind-hearted he is.
Yeah.
Like I look at him like, dude, it's a little bit sickening. You got to tone it down a little bit. Because there are times where like I've had people talk to him, and I've had customers. I had like, you will not talk to him that way. You will apologize.
Wow.
And because I don't play that.
I
It's
couldn't even
like,
imagine talking to him like that.
yeah, but he's so kind that people, people take advantage
Yeah,
of kindness. And then, and Austin will go out of his way. It's like, well, let me, he's a big guy. Let me squeeze in here, try to get this or whatever else. And he doesn't even think once, doesn't even think twice about it.
Yeah.
He'll do that. Jacob, like when we first met, he was working for other companies and stuff like that. And him and I just immediately connected. And he is wise beyond his years.
Yeah.
I know I won't give his age out, but he is definitely more wise than his age.
Yeah.
And the fact of his knowledge blows mine away when it comes to board games and certain other things. And it's funny when these guys will come on, it's like, well, we can't believe that you know this and this. I'm like, guys, I'm like 20 years your senior.
Yeah.
I'm going to know a couple more things.
That's right.
But for them to still have the passion to want to learn and to experience things. And like, I'll give them stuff, and they're like, well, you don't have to. I said, guys, there's a written rule. Respect the four walls and the people in it.
Yeah.
The unwritten rule is I'm the owner. I do whatever I want.
That's right.
So it's like, if I want to give you a gift, it's because I want you to know how much I appreciate you.
That's right.
And like I
That's
said, I'd rather show than tell. Words, if you don't back them up, are empty.
Yeah.
But these guys they keep me sane. There are times where I'm just like,
I can see that.
yeah,
I can see that.
I feel like, okay, it's pretty busy in traffic out there. Let me test fate. Let me walk across the street and not look. There are times when you just feel that way because like the walls close in.
Yeah.
You're trying to make, things work, and you worry about people.
Yeah.
Like I worry about a lot of my customers, like their relationships, their livelihood, their mental and physical well-being.
Sure.
And like my wife, she thinks I'm a big softie, and that's probably one of the reasons why she married me. But I can sense when someone's on the edge.
Yeah.
I can sense when someone's really happy.
Yeah.
And it's a feeling like they'll radiate. It's like an aura.
Right.
But the people that come in and you just see this darkness about them, and it's not them, it's what's happened to them.
That's right.
And you're looking at them, it's like, hey, do you need help? Like I put my personal phone number on my card. And there have been times where I've talked to people and it's like, 2 o'clock in the morning, hey, can we talk? Yeah, I sorry to bother you. No, do not apologize for being human.
Yeah.
And do not apologize for being yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you're not hurting someone else, there's no reason for you to apologize.
Yes.
But we as human beings, we always fall back into that.
Yeah.
Unless you're completely narcissistic and you don't think anything's wrong.
That's right.
So you always have the different spectrum.
I'll tell you, I believe it, and I would be willing to say this doesn't even have to be a comic book, and what you've built here outside the story is that community, and that's what keeps it going. But let's do talk comics and your personal interest in them. Where did that start? What do you got? What's your favorite stuff? That sort of thing.
My very first comic book when I was 6 years old was Iron Man 114.
Okay, fresh me on the cover.
Okay. Now, basically it dealt with an automation that his father, Howard, created, Arsenal.
Okay.
And basically is fighting his dad's creation. And he didn't realize, he thought that was his dad's greatest creation when actually he himself was his dad's greatest creation. But I grew up very poor, almost froze to death in a trailer living up in northern New York.
Gotcha.
And comics took me away from the pain.
Gotcha.
And it put me in a world where it's like, hey, this guy was super smart. He doesn't have powers except for his mind. And he's a survivor.
Yeah.
And he's been through, like, I had a father who had problems with alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's not like he ever hit us or anything like that, but he is just, and he was a beautiful person. It's just, he was flawed, like we all are.
Gotcha.
And then I looked at Tony Stark and I said, hey, there's some similarities here. And then it blew my mind when I found out, Stan Lee came out and he goes, well, that was kind of a joke. It's like, hey, can we actually make this guy a hero? He's a weapons dealer and he got blown up by his own stuff. And,
right.
And, but the thing I loved about comics was it's not about the powers, it's about the people.
It is.
And it's about the characters, why does everyone gravitate towards Spider-Man so much?
Right.
Okay, he's not the most powerful, he's not the flashiest, everything like that, but everyone can relate to him. Even when he wins, he loses.
Yeah.
But he keeps going. And he's human and he makes mistakes and he's lost loved ones and he hasn't turned quote unquote evil.
Right.
You know,
And he started as a young kid that you could
right,
identify as.
right,
And had the same problems as
yeah,
other
right.
teenagers. Yeah.
And he also, like, when I was younger, it was just me and my mother and brother
Yeah.
until my mom remarried. And my stepfather, you know, God rest his soul, was one of the greatest people ever. And was he perfect? No, but he was a beautiful person.
Yeah.
Taught me how to drive, took me fishing, taught me how to drive a boat, did all these things
Yeah.
that a dad does.
Right.
And made me realize family's not the people that have the same blood as you.
Right.
It's the people that
Yep.
will bleed for you. And I have friends, like, I consider Austin and Jacob family.
Yeah.
Like, if they need something, I don't care if they're in another country, I will find a way to get to
That's
them.
right.
But I also know they'll do the same for me. And you don't even think
Absolutely
about it.
will.
And you don't think about that.
Yeah.
And some people don't have that.
No.
And that's heartbreaking.
It is.
But the only way you're going to get that is by putting yourself out there, making sacrifices. You
Yeah.
know, how many times have I put my arms open and I've got kicked right between the legs?
Sure.
More times than I can count.
Sure.
But like I said, I'm a dog with a bone. I'm
Yeah.
not going to give up. I'm not
Yeah.
going to change because other people are like that. And that's what I love about the people that come in here. Are they flawed? Do they make mistakes? Do I have to pick up after them like 5-year-olds at times?
Yeah.
But
you're also mentoring folks.
right.
Because of the wisdom that you have through all of their
Right.
learnings, like we all do. All the struggles that we have, we can instill them in our kids, our grandkids,
And it's worth it.
these folks.
And
Yeah,
it's worth it. You
absolutely.
see one little bit of change and you reward that. You give
Yeah.
positive reinforcement. It's like, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
It's like, but it was no big deal. I said it was to me.
Yeah.
For you doing that one, you know, like I had someone come in and they were teaching someone magic for the first time, which is a hard game to learn.
Yeah.
And he was there all day and I went and gave him another pack. He goes, but I didn't win. I said, it's not about winning. It's about you building a community.
That's right.
That's
right.
what's important to me. And he goes, but I didn't buy anything today. I said, you don't have to.
Yeah.
That's
secondary.
That's the big confusion that people have. Like I have people come in and like they'll play demo games, and I have some places charge. I don't. You come, you play,
Yeah. Yeah.
enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And some people freak out. It's like, well, how do you make money off that? And I joke around and said, well, I have a pole. I'll dance for it. I don't care. You know, whatever works. You know?
Can we
It's
get that on
yeah,
camera
I
later?
got my mom's hips. This works. You know. But at the end of the day, it's about the person coming in and feeling like they're a part of something.
That's right.
That they're not alone.
That is right.
And that's what Sanctuary is all about.
Yeah.
Because like when I was gonna open up the shop, I was like just like Valley Ranch Books and Games. I didn't care what the name was.
Yeah.
I just wanted I wanted the place to be like the old sitcom Cheers, where someone walks in,
Yeah.
everyone knows your name.
Yeah.
That's what I was going for.
You got it.
Yeah, and
You got
and
it.
I haven't screwed it up yet, so I'm keep going.
And it's not the biggest store.
No.
I mean, this is jam-packed, but it's still very comfortable. And it's that business mind, that mentality. It's still good.
Yep.
I mean, you've got tables everywhere. You told me a really good story, and I wanted to make sure we got this in. Didn't some folks meet here and then get married?
Yeah, I'm going to give a shout out to Reed and Amy. They met here, but they met here and they invited us to the wedding. And when my wife and I showed up, I see like 4 tables with just people from here.
Oh, yeah. That's so
and,
cool.
in fact, one of the people they met here was their officiant.
Wow.
And he, you know, got them married and stuff like that. And so the groom, Reed, stepped up and he went and said, I want to thank 2 people. He thanked his mom because she was his hero, which a lot of us, our moms are.
Yeah.
You know, he goes, and the other one is Sean. You know, if it wasn't for Sanctuary, and I'm like, keep it together, man. Don't cry.
Yeah,
Don't
that's
break
a
down.
tough one.
I'm always looking at me. She's like, hold my hand. I'm like, not helping. Not, not helping. But
that's when the allergies start, right?
oh yeah, it's like, man, that LASIK surgery coming back on me. You know?
That's right.
But they come in almost every Friday like clockwork. They're my board gamers. And not only are they beautiful people, but they're so nice. And like when new people come in, I don't even have to say anything. It's like, oh yeah, we got a game over here. We'll just fit you right in or whatever.
That's awesome.
And that's what's great about it. It's
Yeah.
like, and again, I'm originally from New York. I'm not above bribery. So when
There you go.
they come
There
in,
you
it's
go.
like, I'll get pizza from next door or I'll get food for them and stuff like that. And it's just, like I said, it's good to have good people around you.
Yeah.
And that makes it
neat.
worth it. It really does.
I'll tell you, it's amazing to go, and I want to go back to some of the other stores, not just here, all over, because I travel all over the place. And you get your kids that have that dream of being a comic book store and have the money from whoever to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
and they're more on their phone than when they walk in. You say hello to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Your
Well, that's the
folks
number
say
one
hello
thing.
to everybody.
That's the number one thing. Like
Yeah.
we have deliverables. Number one, greet every person that comes
Yeah.
in. And because I told them, I said they're more your boss than I am.
That's right. They're making
It's
the
that
paychecks.
simple. And that's the thing. Like when I lived up in New York, I worked 15 years grocery retail, so I understood. Be empathic towards the customer.
Yeah.
Let them understand. It's like, hey, I'm just not here for your money. It's like, and that's what got me going.
Yeah.
But then I've worked corporate. I've worked part-time at some other comic shops and card shops. But, you get the little tricks where like, well, if you want to really sell something to someone, put it in their hand. They already feel like they own it. But for me, it was always about, look that person in the eye. Let them know that you know their name.
Yeah.
And when I don't know someone's name, it's like,
Yeah.
it sticks with me. It's like, how come I can't remember this person?
That's
I had
right.
someone come in like 5 years ago, and I was like, hey, how you doing? And he goes, oh, you don't remember me? I said, yeah. And I told his name, and he goes, you're good.
How did that happen? Yeah.
And he goes, well, I said, no, because you and I had a big discussion about like X-Men. You didn't like how direction was going, stuff like that. He goes, you remember that conversation? I said, that's why I built the shop.
Yeah.
Do you think it's easy? All the books you see on the wall, that's for my own personal collection.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah, I only kept like 3 comics. I only kept like 3 statues.
All right, so what are the 3 comics? Or what's your grail?
Iron Man 1. No. These comics are worthless to everybody else.
I get that completely.
114.
Yep.
Iron Man. And you got to understand, like 2 of these books are 2 of the very first books I ever had. So they're covers, they're well read, they're falling off the staples, everything else. The 3rd one was Invincible Iron Man #1, J. Scott Campbell cover with Riri Williams on it from Midtown Comics.
Okay.
Because my wife went with her friends to New York and she brought that book back to me.
So that's it.
So I can't.
Yeah.
There's no
That's
way.
not going
And like
away.
I had people, it's like, oh, well, you saw that? I'm like, oh, a slap the taste out of it. Ask. And the 3 statues that I kept, because I had like a full run of like the Ami Comic statues, the Bushido statues, all these. I had like Godzilla statues, Iron Man statues. I had like over 40 Iron Man statues.
Oh my gosh.
And and it's funny because like the very first statue I ever bought, at my youngest with me, he was about yay tall. Now he's this tall.
Yeah.
And both of us like Iron Man, but his favorite color was blue. So they had the stealth armor.
Yeah, that's right.
And it was beautiful. It was a cold cast, ceramic statue. And it's not like the statues now. The plastic statues are so well detailed, and you can pick them up for like $40, $50.
Yeah.
Back then, statues were cement and stuff, and you paid minimum $150.
Wow.
It was not, easy. But it's like I went there, and it's like my son was with me, and it meant something.
Yeah.
So I kept that one, but it's in his room. So I kept it, but it's actually
But it's there. Yeah.
My wife cosplayed at X-23.
Oh, that's awesome.
Laura Kinney. So when she went and did that, I had the San Diego Comic-Con version of the Bushido statue of X-23.
Yeah.
So that's hers. The only statue I kept, which is really sad that I bring up this story, is before I finally met Stan Lee, I had no signatures from him.
Yeah.
And I actually got pity gifts from friends. It's like, well, you're finally going to go meet Stan Lee, but I sent you this DVD with his signature on it. And it's like...
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So one of my friends sends me the classic Iron Man statue.
Yeah.
And it's signed by Stan Lee on the base.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I had it over there for $150 in the corner, posted online and stuff like that, but I forgot it was signed. And one day I'm like, there's a reason that statue shouldn't be over there. And I open it up and everything, and I'm like, wow, that was dumb,
I was going to say, if it's still here, I'm going home with it.
So I brought it home. My wife goes, well, why the deal was like everything had to go out there. I said, well, I think you're going to let me go on this one. She goes, why? And I pull it out. She goes, okay.
Oh,
Just walked away. Walked away.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But that's the thing. Outside of that.
So everything else is up here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Everything else is up there or in these boxes or in these long boxes. Yeah. Because I've only got so much wall space, but I have other like wall books.
Yeah,
but,
I mean this is.
But for me, it was like I collected every Avengers comic ever made, from 1 all the way up to current. Every issue that said Thor, like Thor 126 after his journey into mystery, all the way up. Captain America 100 all the way up.
Yep.
Iron Man 1 all the way up, and then I hit my grails, like first appearance of Black Panther, who I just loved the character.
Yeah.
And I loved how Jack Kirby and Stan Lee took the chance. They had death threats, bomb threats, everything
Yes,
else.
yeah.
You make a first black character, and you make him a king in the most advanced civilization, and they had death threats. And I'm like, so when Jack Kirby passed away, that really hurt. But when Stan passed away, that was crushing.
Yeah.
And then when people like, I remember some journalist came out and it's like, well, this guy's not a hero. I'm like, you're talking smack about someone who actually literally saved people's lives.
That's right.
By being there and by caring. What have you done?
Yeah.
It's like I get sick of people like just trying to tear someone down to make a name for themselves.
Pointless.
And I said, this guy up into his 90s would sit there and sign his name 300 times.
Oh yeah.
In a matter of 2-3 hours. Like I signed my name like 15 times when we bought our house, and my hand's ready to fall off.
That's
and I'm
right.
looking at him like, how is this guy? And then I met him 2 times.
Yeah.
And I met him once for the picture.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, don't hug him, don't shake his hand and stuff like that. I'm like, this is Stan Lee. You're gonna have to tase me like 5 times. But I walk in, he goes, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, he put his hand out.
I know.
I don't care. And I said, it's a pleasure meeting you. And he goes, no, the pleasure's mine. Meeting fans like you made me feel like I had a purpose. And I'm like, great, I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna be teary-eyed.
Yeah, absolutely, awesome. Absolutely.
And then when I go in to meet him, I was traumatized because after collecting comics for 40 years, what do you have the man sign?
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't even know.
Yeah, I'm like thinking, is it First Appearance of Black Panther? Is it like one of the Iron Man issues? And I'm losing my mind. And then my wife went and got me the History of Marvel Comics in the leatherbound edition.
Oh, wow.
3 pages in, there's a young Stan Lee fresh out of the service. And I'm like, that's what we're doing.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
This is a cool part. So I bring it up to him. And I have my oldest with me at the time. I bring it to him.
Yeah.
And he looks down, and like, of course, it's Stan Lee. He's got a cigarette in the hand,
Yeah.
Classic Stan Lee. He goes, who is this? Stan Lee doesn't smoke.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm one of probably tens of thousands of people he's met.
Yeah.
But for him to take that 15, 20 seconds and to make it a highlight, not just for me, but also for himself, that's special.
And a story you can pass on.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's like, you don't take these comics and stuff like that, you take the memories. And like, when I told some of my close friends I was going to open up a shop, sell all my books, a lot of them said, BS, there's no way. It's like, you covered that and stuff. I said, yeah, but for me to have a conversation with someone about that book, that means more to me. I'll take that conversation with me to the grave.
Yeah.
I'm not putting the comics in because I'm planning on getting cremated. And I will not be burning any books.
There you go.
That is not happening. Not on my watch.
I want to take a look around the shop with you. So Austin, we've talked earlier about you, John and I, and I've talked to you a number of times. You were my first connection here when I called and I said, that Fantastic Four 22, the Alex Ross, and it's at CBCS right now getting slabbed. So
you said you were going to send it.
Yeah, immediately. Took it the next day. And I thought, and you were my third phone call of comic stores around the area because I'm staying in Louisville.
Yeah.
And you came through. It wasn't just no, we don't have it, or I have nothing left, or I don't know if we got it.
Yeah.
You look. You even said, and I said this earlier, let me make sure my subscribers all have theirs, and if there's one left, it's yours.
Absolutely. We got to take care of the people who take care of their stuff. So, absolutely.
And that's what this shop is. That's why I come back here. That's why I bragged about this. Now, I don't know if you know this or Sean know this, but I've spoke about Sanctuary Comics on 2 of our episodes.
Really? I tuned into one because I told you I had to give a thumbs up and see after you told me about it. I'll
tell you, there's just something about the people element of this place.
Yes, absolutely.
The community that you all have built.
Yes.
is what's going to make this thing last until you and I are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
Just amazing. And it's in a nice strip center.
being
You
next
got
to
a
a
good
pizza
pizza
place.
place.
Yeah, I was gonna say the pizza place
I'm
helps.
sure they got Mountain Dew for the long-term
All
gamers,
day,
right?
all day long.
But this is great, and I just, I wanted to highlight stores that get it, that it's the
See?
people thing. And when I asked you right before we hit the record button,
Yeah.
what's the thing that makes it? And I did say, and not just the people, but you said
I can't
is.
I can't say anything else first, just due to the fact that it's, besides the the kind of foundation Sean has created here, it's just always different. It's good to see different walks of life, different people, but they all have the same passion, same interest.
Yeah.
And I guess it's crazy to say, but I'm sure I can't be the only person who feels that way. I like the differences of opinion.
Yeah.
I like that Marvel has a fan base, and DC and just comic industry in general,
Yep.
that has a fan base of people that, whether they'll admit it or not, half the time won't agree on anything.
Right.
When they do agree on something, it's something special.
Yeah.
You have that diamond in the rough, but also different perspectives that can be right, while also the person across from you doesn't agree with you
Right.
whatsoever.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can sit at a table like this, completely disagree, but you start throwing cards down, you start talking about
Absolutely.
Loki.
Absolutely.
It's a whole different world.
Finding something where I may have loved the show, but you may not.
Yeah.
But finding the common grounds in the show that, like, oh well, I can't lie, that carried
right.
some significance into this, and now that is built into something
Yeah.
else. It's interesting to see how you can have these kind of building blocks between people
Right.
that make a comic book store and the industry what it is all at the same time.
Yeah, it's funny when I walked in and there was that Loki conversation earlier.
Absolutely.
I have not watched the Loki show. I was told I should.
Yeah. Oh no, it's
And
deep.
it's that good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think I will. God knows I travel enough. I might as well just watch it on the plane and record it.
Oh yeah.
But talking about some of these shows and let's say the MCU and the Zack Snyder
DC, yes.
There's all these new shows coming out, and I recently watched The Caped Crusader.
Watched all of it in one day.
Me too.
Watched all of it in one
So
day.
let's start there.
Yeah.
What did you think?
So, I love it. It's without being too harsh. It's not the first series. It pays a lot of homage to it,
Yep.
while still being different.
Yeah.
I will never take away the Joker and the Batman that we had in the first animated
right.
series. They will be etched in stone for forever. But to pay a respectful homage while still touching on a few things. Once again, I'm sure there'll be a few people that don't like maybe some little things, or
we talked about that.
things like that.
Yeah.
But as a whole, it's fantastic. Where we left off, I think I was talking with Jacob earlier about how I was like, oh, I love the show. He was like, I love it, and he's a huge Harley Quinn fan. But he was like, I don't like that depiction of Harley.
It was different.
And
wasn't
I was like, yeah, and I was like, I can definitely see how you feel that way. But I know you can be a curmudgeon sometimes, but I see how you can be that way.
Yeah.
And I also can see, well, for me personally, I need another season, because now we're about to get, I don't want to be a spoiler, but we're getting stuff at the end that's going to make me wonder if that will build on that character, and how much the character we're getting now will still be the same.
Yeah. I had 12 hours in an airport last week, so I watched the whole first season as well.
Absolutely.
And I absolutely loved it. Now, it threw me for some things. And,
and
I've talked about it. There's some changes that have happened. There's some little tidbits that are added. But I don't think it took away from the story whatsoever.
That's the way I felt. It's different, but I don't feel bad about it.
Yes, it is different. Harley was very different.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Gordon and Barbara, different.
Very different, yes.
But it didn't make it a big deal. I talked about it was seconds. But it also had a purpose. It wasn't like just throw it in to capture a whole group of folks to do it for political reasons. It's still, I enjoyed the story. I still love it. I'm an X-Men 97 fan.
All the way.
It was fantastic.
I love it.
What are you looking forward to in the next series of TVs or movies?
Well, I just heard that we are getting Moon Knight and What If.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I heard about that in San Diego Comic-Con, some of the news from that. Before we stray away from Batman, just so I don't forget, how did you feel about the Batman animated show?
So,
because that's one of the ones that's kind of controversial to some people.
So I didn't watch it.
Okay.
I didn't watch it. So I am I'm a Super Friends fan.
Okay, so
Originally Saturday morning, getting
Gotcha.
up at 8 o'clock and watching Super Friends.
gotcha.
And when I went through Wendy and Marvin and the dog to
Yes.
the Wonder Twins, so I'm back. I'm old
Okay,
school, right?
I'm the person who would go back and watch some of the
Yeah.
old episodes. I'm sure I haven't finished them, but I would watch in consecutive episodes.
That was my DC.
Yeah, that was your bread and butter, the
I
classic.
did. Yeah, I loved Batman Beyond animated.
Yes,
I loved the animated.
yes.
Batman, I didn't even catch it.
It's one of the ones that's interesting to me. I always enjoyed it for what it was. It's definitely different. You get some different villains, but you also get some good depictions and some weird depictions of them. Like the Joker isn't the Joker that we're familiar with,
Right.
but you get some different characters like Mr. Pig, and
Yeah, see, I don't
some
even
of the
know
people.
about a Mr. Pig.
He is one of the most violent Batman villains that you'll ever
Really?
come across. Absolutely, but he's very different. And you get some people. I'm mad I can't think of the bird's name, but it likes shiny metal. So whatever bird it is, and the person correlates with that bird, and it's a very interesting character that goes back far in DC.
Gotcha.
So it shares some intriguing things. The animation threw some people off.
Yeah.
But it's also that animation that now people seem to like, but they didn't like when it first came out.
Gotcha.
Almost like Green Lantern and some of those other shows that were out there for a while. But it's intriguing.
Did you ever go into the Japanese versions of X-Men, Iron Man, Wolverine cartoons?
Absolutely, and I love them.
Do you?
When it comes to animated, I'm more than big. I'm more one of the people that I've gone out of my way to watch every Marvel animated thing that they've ever done, just about, just for the sake of watching it. Whether it's the hard to find Black Knight's Marvel Knight series.
Didn't know about it.
So it's fantastic depending on which one you do, but it's stop animation.
Okay.
So it's like someone's reading a book and it's, the pages are slightly moving, but it's a lot of rare tales that are really, really good that a lot of people haven't caught. The Black Panther, if I do say so myself, is a work of art.
Wow.
It is definitely different. You would like it, even from the meeting of Captain America the first time and everything.
So you're schooling me on these.
You'll love it, and I don't mind writing it down and making sure you watch it. They're different.
I will jump on this.
And the art is beautiful.
I went with the Spider. I started back when I went back to old stuff. I went to Spider-Woman from the 70s.
Isn't there so much good stuff that's laid in that now? Even
Fantastic
from
Four, the original Spider-Man stuff.
Absolutely.
A lot of that stuff, I just was like, oh man.
We have
need it.
Yes, and I love we have the running joke of how much they put into even with her pregnancy and the difficulties and the things she had to go through in that. It was a very intriguing storyline.
Yeah.
The Spider-Woman gets so in depth in so many different places, but then also you have some comedy in there when she finally meets Spider-Man and they decide that they're not really.
That's right. That's right.
That they're not really going to hang out too much. Don't hate you or anything, but first time we met, it didn't really go that great, and didn't really think you were the best person ever.
What really took me back about the animation, I later read into the books.
Yes.
Was Spider-Woman was a lot of boys' first crush.
Oh, I mean,
the way she was drawn.
Spider and Wonder. Yeah, those were the two.
Yes,
one had a little more attitude than the other, but yes, absolutely.
But I'll tell you, the statues, when you see the Wonder Woman statues, they don't hold back.
No.
That she's Spider-Woman.
She's one of the 2 or 3 characters that I can say, just being able to work in a comic shop, at least from my observance. Is there's only 2 or 3 female characters that I've seen that not just the males, but everybody will buy just for covers sometimes.
Yeah.
I've seen Catwoman.
Yep.
And Power Girl.
Oh yeah.
There's a few.
The cutout.
Yes, and I'll ask somebody, just me being me, I'll say, so how do you feel about it? We're on issue 2 or 3, and it's like, so what did you think of the story?
What story?
Never opened the book.
That's right.
Never opened the book.
That's
and
right.
I get it. Catwoman can be the same way sometimes.
Yeah.
But that shows to a certain amount of beauty, not just in a character, but the art that the artists use and the depiction of a character.
That's right. And I think the age of when Spider-Woman first came out.
Yes.
That was pretty.
That was risque for the time.
Boom,
that was risque for the time. Absolutely.
But what do you read now? Comics.
Oh man. So that's a lot. Working here, I do bad, unfortunately, when it comes to reading a lot. I read a good bit. If I don't read it, I watch YouTube videos from certain people just so I can catch up. You can't read everything.
That's right.
But I also want to be knowledgeable for the customers. Last Ronin, any of the TMNT stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
You
Last
like
Ronin.
this new restart of the Turtles?
I like the start. I mean, we just have Raphael so
Yep.
far, so you know
In
it's a
prison.
which is intriguing. Got to see
Yeah,
where it goes.
yeah.
So I don't mind the start. Berserker, with the movie and the
Oh,
TV
yeah,
series
yeah.
coming, I'm intrigued. And I mean, if you like anything
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves,
Yeah, sure. And it's not going to be bad. You know
yeah,
that.
yeah. What else am I liking right now? What else do we got? The Blade stuff was really good to me. I mean, it was interesting to see
Yeah.
him get that power boost, and
Yeah.
and unfortunately how it happens. But I like the story in
Yeah.
general. Trying to think of some other stories that really
What's
set me
something
back.
brand new?
So
Something brand new you're reading.
I
New
don't want to
issue,
say
new person.
new issue, new person. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. I guess Geiger wouldn't be new, but I've been reading Geiger.
I've been reading it since the beginning.
I love Geiger all
I
the
do
way.
too.
Brand new. Besides all the X-Men titles that have just started, which
All right, let's go there. let's go there.
I haven't got to read this week's X Factor, but the new stuff.
I did.
How did you do the Krakoa before this? I always have to
So I did
see.
a bit of it.
Got tired of it?
Yes,
A lot of people did.
but I like the new X Factor. I always judge first. I'm a cover guy,
Okay, of course.
and then I like the content. And if the content makes me want to see the next issue really bad,
Yes.
I'm good with it.
And Krakoa did that for a while for you,
For
and
a
then
while.
eventually,
And then it was like,
Yeah, it's a little
I
much.
dropped off.
yeah. And it's a lot.
X Factor, okay.
Yeah.
The first X-Men reboot that they just came out, I forget, was it Uncanny or
Uncanny,
just X-Men?
or they did Uncanny, and then they did
Yeah.
another X-Men as well. But yes.
Not thrilled with either of them. They're okay.
They're okay,
not,
yeah.
They're not. I'm not.
I'm
not
gonna
like-
get. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna do issue 2 to see where we're.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm just. Yes, that's
Exactly.
where I'm at, or where
So
I am.
I'm hoping that something good comes out of it.
I feel like that's gonna happen. I feel like there's a lot of potential there where we left off. The Apocalypse stuff is intriguing.
Yeah,
Him as a character, without getting too far, is always intriguing to me.
I agree. I agree.
I have never met a bad guy, and maybe it's just me, but I've never met a bad guy who seems to go missing whenever another bad guy that might be stronger than him is
Yeah.
around. And I mean always.
Is it smart or is it chicken?
And I never know. I
Yeah.
mean, and he's always. It just seems like, oh, well, we have Judgment Day coming, and
Yeah.
or the Celestials are here, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
where did Apocalypse go? Well, he's taking a nap, or he's out in a different plane, and he always seems to be missing when a threat that seems like, oh, I'd love to see them battle.
right. You're
He's
right.
never there, but it's intriguing.
So let me throw one at you before
Yes.
we run out of time.
Absolutely.
NYX #1. It just came out.
So this is a girl on all levels who, without even being like, oh, I'm not the biggest fan, but the potential for that character is amazing. The attitude,
X-23.
X-23,
Yeah.
the attitude is always kind of spot on. This story she's going through now is gonna be kind of a test, I feel like, for her. But they're also talking about. I mean, she's already taken the mantle to a degree, but
Yeah.
her taking the mantle again to another.
I
Degree.
hope so.
Yes.
Reading that first issue of the new series,
Yes.
and it was 90% Ms. Marvel.
Yes,
And
absolutely. That's all it was.
And I'm not a fan of Ms. Marvel.
Okay. Yes.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's an age appropriate thing,
And I
get
feel like
that.
she has a place.
That's right.
I feel like she has a place, and
If I had
she
a-
does positive for.
when my granddaughters get older,
That's how I feel.
there you
Yeah,
go.
that's exactly how I feel. And hey, if you're trying to be positive like that, I have no. What can I gonna say? Oh,
Yeah, be mean.
yeah, she literally
be
just
like,
yeah.
be like NYX versus
That's
others.
what I mean.
Whole
I'll
different
never knock
adult
someone.
thing.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
never knock someone for just being a good person.
I
Kudos.
hope they run with Laura Kinney
I do too.
in movies,
Everything.
in everything.
That's how I
think
feel.
I think she's really the successor
Mm-hmm.
to Wolverine, even to Hugh Jackman. Daphne should be the successor.
Absolute attitude and on and off screen.
Yeah,
Just
that's
a
it.
phenomenal person,
On
if
and
I may.
off screen.
Seems that way. Just
I'm with you, man.
seems like she may have went to high school with you, but also some, a girl you can
Also
hang out.
whoop your.
Yeah, and beat you up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like she could be one of the guys, but also,
Yeah.
be
Yeah,
someone you
just-
literally saw in the hallway when you were in school.
I agree, man. I agree. I think that there's something special with her,
Absolutely.
and I hope they go the right direction with it. I think that there's more fan acceptance to her
Absolutely.
than there has been in a long time. Ms. Marvel was split.
Absolutely.
Brie, some were fans, some couldn't stand it.
Absolutely.
I think, like Black Widow,
Mm-hmm.
that was a good one. Everybody was on board with
Yes. Yes.
Scarlett
Yes.
Johansson.
And she earned it. She
She
took her
did.
time. She waited. That was more of what it was for me. It was. I liked the movie. It was a solid movie. I have no
Yeah.
issues
No,
with it.
I liked it too.
But I also know the person and the actress. You took your time. Like
Yeah.
you weren't first up. They let you know early you weren't first up, but you were patient. And you were in what they needed you to be in. You've always had a smile on your face.
And it
Heck,
worked.
you did it with your pregnancy. The little things.
That's right.
Little things we forget as time
That's
goes by.
right.
You were in that Corvette and you were pregnant. Talking about old man hopping the
That's
Corvette.
right.
So you know what I mean. Little things you got to give credit to people
That's
for.
a good point.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm very anxious to see what happens. Man, I'm an X-23 fan. I've got the comics. I collect the covers. The variants are phenomenal.
They really
Just
go above and
phenomenal,
beyond.
yeah.
So my question to you. So I know you said you stopped reading the Krakoan era stuff.
Yep.
Did you get to where when they brought her back? Because I'm not sure how many people are familiar with their new changes that also ran into this series. Because she was one of the people who passed and got reborn.
Then I did not.
So when they remade her, and I'm not sure, I wish I could reference an issue and a number,
Yeah.
but when they remade her, it was during the Krakoan era that just passed. It took a lot. You can even tell that the group that when they remake somebody, it usually is a strenuous process, but hers was extra tedious. Now it's not just her bones. Remember, her bones were still regular, but they healed. They were able to add adamantium to her body, so now she's like Wolverine
skeleton.
without the
side effects
of the killing you from the adamantium poison.
Oh, now you got me. I better get
So
on
now,
Marvel tonight.
so now and for the people listening, it was something that was slightly glazed over, but she is now
full.
Yeah, and how that's going to play out as things go by.
I
and is
hope
it
she
something that
takes
could help
the lead.
Wolverine?
Yeah.
Now that you have something that's not poisoning her, should someone be doing a sample to see if Wolverine can not have that?
Wouldn't that be cool? Maybe that's the edge to
Leaves
keep
a lot
on
of
Hugh
potential.
Jackman till he's 90, as the joke goes, right?
I love it.
Wouldn't that be cool?
I love it.
Austin, thank you so much.
It has been a
pleasure, man. I enjoy coming down here. I'll be here every other week that I can, and this truly is a sanctuary.
I'm into the entire Justice League Dark team. I own all their first appearances except that one and the first appearance of Swamp Thing. So I'm just going to have to just face it to buy Swamp Thing.
So that's
number
House
one.
of Secrets, right?
House of Secrets.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's like a 40K book.
Oh, yeah.
So
ridiculous.
I'm just going to be able to probably afford Swamp Thing number one day, and that would just be as close as I'm going to get.
Yeah, I saw that they're releasing facsimiles of that. I'm not a big fan of facsimiles.
Me neither. I don't buy them.
But they've got like the take from the mirror the other way and all sorts of different stuff. I've mistakenly got facsimiles because I love the cover, and then to find out it's a facsimile of something else. So I'm not a fan either. I don't get it, really.
No, I mean, there are some books that's just like you'll never be able to afford. You know, Amazing Fantasy number 15.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay to own a facsimile of that book. Like you're never going to be able to read it any other way.
Yeah, I got to hold a Spider-Man 1 the other day. My friend, literally a barn find, and it was cool. I mean, because I've never seen one in person.
Yeah, I got lucky a few times over at CBCS.
Yeah.
And I got to hold some very valuable books.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll never be able to touch again.
No, that's awesome. Now, are you into board games or just comics?
I'm into board games and card games. I'm a judge for a few of the card games here. The One Piece tournaments, I'm the one that got that up and running, and now we're huge.
So what's the big card game right now?
Magic's probably still number one.
Yeah.
But then after that, it'll probably be a tie between the One Piece Lorcana card game. And then Pokemon still does well, just not as well here. Most of those are collectors, not really players.
Are you seeing the age group rise?
Oh yeah, all the groups are older. Even Lorcana being a Disney card game, I think our youngest person we have here is probably 24.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And now, have they gotten another series of Lorcana? I know Ursula was on one.
Ursula was the last set. Now we're moving on to their next chapter, and we don't know exactly what villain we're heading towards, but they're heading towards something.
So are they fun and easy to play?
Lorcana is, and One Piece is. Magic is definitely probably the hardest game to learn, just because it's been around since '94.
Right.
So there's a lot of rules have been changed, a lot of cards has been added. It has a huge card pool. So and tons of new keywords comes out between every set.
Gotcha.
So that's probably the hardest one to learn.
So if you got stuck on an island with your family, what board game you bringing?
What board game am I bringing?
Board game, not card game, board.
Oh, man. I'll probably be bringing my Unmatched stuff.
What is that? I'm not
It
familiar with
is
that.
a miniature card dueling game, and they have Marvel characters as well as just famous history. Like, they just came out of the William Shakespeare set. They have, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Dracula.
So wait, William Shakespeare can fight Spider-Man?
Yes.
I got to look this up. That's awesome.
He's grabbing the William Shakespeare
Are
set
you?
right now. Yeah, the William Shakespeare, and you can combine it with anything. They all even Buffy the Vampire Slayer has been.
You're kidding me.
So there's a Spider-Man set, and there's William Shakespeare, and you can have William Shakespeare fight Hamlet and the witches as well.
Flip it over, shows the miniatures
Yeah,
of
so
them.
it's miniatures as well. I'm a
Miniatures?
fanatic for miniatures.
Yep.
Yeah.
I bought a
miniatures.
resin printer and started printing my own.
And their art's really good because they use the Mondo art, like the Mondo art for like all the big movie posters and stuff.
Yeah.
They do all the interior arts for all the cards.
So this is the game you're taking on the desert island.
Yeah, I play it
Easy
a
to
lot.
play?
I play it. Yeah, it's really easy. My kid loves it. I got the owner into it.
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's easily one of our favorite card games, and they're about to come out with a Ninja Turtles set. So you're gonna have William Shakespeare fight Ninja Turtles as well.
Oh my gosh. So how many sets? I think I saw it over
There's
here
a
while
lot.
we were taping.
There's probably about 10 or 11.
Oh yeah.
And
What's the retail on this?
$29.99, $39.99 is
And
tend to be
$49.99.
the average. Yeah.
So
the
is there a
Marvel ones are-
starter set you have to get first?
No, any of them can be played on their own.
Wow.
And they're
Okay.
interchangeable.
Yep.
That's cool.
And the rules are staying the same. It was a rip on an old Star Wars game from the original trilogy, and the company Restoration Games will grab old games from the 80s and 90s and restore them to a more modern age, and that's what
Yeah.
they do.
I just ordered a game. What's it called? Comic Hunters or something like that. It was out of Portugal. But
Okay,
you
so I
go
don't
and
recognize
you bid on comics, actual covers. They're all licensed by Marvel. And
Oh, I did see
it's
this.
Yeah, it's really cool. So it just launched on Amazon this month because the only way you could get it was in Portuguese.
Right.
And just fantastic. So I'm looking forward to playing that.
Yeah, interesting. No, I've saw it, but it's not coming to the U.S., so I probably won't pick it up.
Yeah, it's here now. So for $24, I went ahead and grabbed it.
That's fair.
So it is New Comic Book Day today, right?
Correct.
And this is the table that normally is.
Yeah, we moved them all. Yes, everything's all
awesome.
over here now.
I know I have a stack over there of the new Werewolf by Night.
The
a
red
lot
band.
of poly bags.
Yeah, they're putting all the red band stuff in polybags right now.
Yeah,
They don't want to get in trouble with the church
Yeah, all
goers
the
and-
covers are clean from
and
that I've
the
seen.
parents that like raise the red flag.
Yeah.
Oh, how dare you have this? And it's
we're
like,
going back to the old approved comic stamp almost with that. But boy, did Blood Hunt. I've got all of those, but the fifth one, slab 9/8 of those EC Commage.
Oh, you got all the
homages.
1 in 25s.
All of them. And I didn't think I could get them, but the prices dropped a little bit, so I grabbed them, and I love them. I just think that they look great.
Yeah.
I also picked up the Oni Press, or however you say that, the EC Cruel Universe, and then
the new series.
Epitaphs of the Abyss. For the covers, they look great, but it's all about the quality of the story on those. I love covers, but the stories don't match up to that surprise ending and that sort of thing for me. It's not what those books were about. But I think there's a Wolverine now with the EC Homage look, or Wolverine's Revenge or something
Yeah,
like
it's about
that.
to come out. Yeah,
And I saw the poster out there advertising it. That's a cool looking look with that dinosaur.
yeah, Greg Capullo.
Yeah, the artists are fantastic. So on the wall books, I look around and knowing that they were yours, there's some stuff up there I would grab in a second. I mean, I'm a big Avengers fan also, and I'm looking at what you've got. The 5 was over there, and some other ones were over there. Whatever that one is, 16 I think, or 18. You've got some great
How may I help you?
selection as well as modern stuff in here.
This is my wall of pride. This is neighborhood kids that came in and they'll draw something, they'll sign their name, and I'll laminate it.
That's
And I'll
so
trade it for either age-appropriate comic book or a Lego figure. And this is the very first one that was ever done. A 9-year-old named Carlos, and he came in. He showed me all this Deadpool stuff, and I'm looking at his mom. I'm like, "You really sure you should be letting him read this?" You know, it's like decapitation stuff. She goes, "Oh well, he's pretty adult for his." I said, "Okay." I said, and I made a deal with him. I said, "If you do this and sign it, I will laminate it. We'll put it above the voice of the great Kevin Conroy."
Yes.
Like when I read Batman books, I hear his voice when I'm reading it.
There you go.
Love this man. But Carlos came in the week after, and he had this full articulated Lego, like it looked like a Hulkbuster with like Deadpool's head on it. I'm like, no, that's way too much. And it's like the deal was picture, sign it, trade. And the mom's looking at me like I'm insane. She's like, "What are you doing?" You know. And so he came back the next week with his dad, and his dad went and said, you know, he's looking at me like I'm an idiot, which you know I probably am. But when Carlos went away, I said, "Give me a couple minutes. The laminator's got to warm up." We laminated it. We taped it up here. And when his son was looking, I said, "You can get the Spider-Man Deadpool, not the regular Deadpool. You know, that's age appropriate." But his father was here, and I said, "I know you and your wife think I'm foolish. I understand that. But wait till you see the look on your son's face when he comes back and sees what he did for his hard work."
Yeah.
That's what's important.
That's right.
And so Carlos comes back and goes, "Dad, look what I got, look what I got." And you see his father's face just melt. Like, okay.
There it is.
So it was like a week later, the mom comes in by herself, and she's like kind of looking down. I'm like, "Are you okay?" You know, and she goes, "Yeah." So Carlos okay? She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Do you have a moment?" I'm like, yeah. Well, what do you need? And she goes, "Well, me and my husband want to apologize because we kind of, you know, gave you, you know, bad looks." And I said, "I understand that." She goes, "But you don't understand. It's like Carlos came in after he was shopping for like an hour. It was an hour later, and he was still so lit up and everything. Look, Mom, look what." And she goes, Can I have a favor?" I'm like, "Sure." She goes, "Can I give you a hug?" I'm like, "Sure." You know, I gave her a hug.
Awesome.
But that's what, you know, because I told her.
Look at the wall. It's gross.
Yeah.
There's not any space left.
I need more wall, and I still have people come in, but it's just, you know, how do you not get impressed by this?
That's right. That's
you
what
know,
it's about.
and like what I loved about it is like I told her, I said, "Okay, it's one thing to do Deadpool, but to have him have a little stuffed animal like Deadpool, that's creative.
Yeah,
that's awesome."
And even the way he designed the mouth in the U.
Exactly.
Mouth.
Yeah.
You might be hanging on to that one.
Oh yeah. No, that's a keeper.
Awesome stuff.
But a lot of these, you know, like, how do you not get impressed by some of this stuff?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's some good stuff up here.
Yeah.
This has been great. I kind of gravitate towards the one that is at Brantley Hash.
Yeah.
So you look at the picture, and I'm thinking that could be a Deadpool cover.
Yep.
You know, it's that cool.
Yeah.
How
But
awesome.
some of these kids are so creative.
Yeah.
And then like if you look down there, I had kids that created their own superhero and put a backstory to it. How awesome is that?
Mind Shrink.
Yep.
And looks like there's a couple other ones.
Yeah, there's, like I said, how do you not get impressed by stuff like that?
Yeah.
You know?
That's awesome.
And like this one, one of my favorites.
Oh, right.
The lady's 13 years old, and she draws that well.
Yeah, that's
13 years old. Well, she's probably 15 now. That was a couple years ago.
That's really cool.
But even still, like the Sonic, the Venoms, Spider-Man, War Machine.
Yeah.
And it was funny because people thought, "Oh, well, you have Deadpool, so it's just Deadpool." No. Whatever character you want. It's like you can even make your own.
Yeah.
And I went and said that, and then I had someone come in and made their own.
That's awesome. That's cool. Sean, it has been a total pleasure, man.
Thank you.
You've got a customer here for life, and I've seen tons already as we've gone through this. This has been great, so I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve.
This is cool. So thanks again.
My pleasure.